How are we looking?
Hi, I'm Harry Highpants and welcome to another episode of Naughty Nook Sailing Adventures. Hang on, we're not recording.
Dog. One
Okay.
day we're gonna get it. She's shaky.
So in the Dominican Republic, if you want to adopt a puppy, there's plenty to choose from. They're all over the streets. You can pretty much just grab one as long as it hasn't got a collar on it. We've just found this little guy here. We can't keep him unfortunately, but he's scared. Jana's scaring him. You're not cuddling him good enough. These guys deliver our water to us every day. We've had about 35 of these big drums.
300. Baby, baby, so cute.
Speak in Spanish to them, baby.
Oh, baby bonita. How do you say cute? ¿Cómo se dice en español? Cute.
Bonita.
Bonita, like beautiful, yeah, but cute.
Linda.
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 Oh, bambina, linda.
Muchas gracias, amigo.
Okay.
Adios.
How do you say have a nice day in Spanish?
Buenos dias.
Buenos dias.
Fill the good people of the world in on what's happening, Beef.
We're looking for our weather window to cross from here in Luperon all the way to Samaná and then on to Puerto Rico.
This forecast Beef's looking at is Wind Guru, which is a coastal report. We've also checked in with Chris Parker, who's given it a green light with the offshore reports, and we checked Predict Wind as well, which I'll put on the screen so you can see that the trade winds will be light and variable over the course of 48 hours, maybe even, what's 48 plus 24?
You can cut that out. Jana's not really good at maths. You probably work that out.
So this weather window looks good for getting around, and we may even be able to motor sail during the day, which is not something you can usually do along this north coast. Here's what you need to know about the Dominican Republic.
Many boats and countless lives have been lost along this treacherous coastline in years gone by. Defying a sailor's common sense, the safest and easiest way to traverse the Dominican Republic north coast, it's actually at night and hugging the shore. Within a mile or two of shore, actually. Why would anyone want to do this?
At night?
Yeah, they say that's the safest way to do it.
Lee Shore.
Doesn't make sense.
They've got to be crazy.
Tell me
I won't do
why.
it. I won't stand for it. During the day, the land heats up and hot air rises above the island. Air from the nearby sea moves over to replace it. This cycle is known as a sea breeze. It blows reliably and strongly off the land most days from mid-morning until sundown from the east, which is exactly the direction that you want to go when you leave Luperon heading for the Eastern Caribbean.
Oh, you're kidding me.
I know, right?
Ugh.
I mean, let's think about it for a minute. With a 50 horsepower engine...
Let's make that 37 horsepower.
With 37 horses in our engine room and 15 to 25 knot winds.
Straight on the nose.
Straight on the nose, sailing during the day just isn't normally an option. But wait, there is another way.
How?
Usually sailors avoid being close to land at night, and we feel more comfortable far from shore in hundreds if not thousands of meters of water with nothing around us. But making headway on the Dominican Republic north coast can best be made at night. Why and how?
You see, babe, at night, as the land cools, the reverse of the sea breeze takes effect. You can think of the land as gently exhaling a light, gentle breeze, quelling the trade winds for a mile or two close to shore. This is known as a night lee.
So the land effect at night actually cancels out the trade winds, is what you're saying.
Yeah, and you end up with this little zone about 2 miles from the shore where it's usually dead calm during the night, most nights.
But close to shore sounds scary.
Yeah, and it is.
Easting in this fashion is known as the Sant method, and it's been tried and tested by many sailors.
Hang on a minute. Who is Van Sant?
Bruce Van Sant is a pretty decent, awesome guy. We've read his book, most people have in these parts, and it's a way to make easting against the trade winds as most comfortably and safely as possible.
I know plenty of decent, awesome guys, but I wouldn't let them guide me where to go. What makes Bruce Van Sant so special?
Well, he's done this. He's done the Mona Passage dozens and dozens of times. He's gone from Florida to Venezuela and back in the times when he did go to Venezuela.
It sounds like this guy should write a book on this subject.
And he has. It's a tried, tested and true model.
We've worked out from here to Samaná is 125 nautical miles. Based on our speed of 5 knots, which is 5 nautical miles an hour, we should need 25 hours to make it from here to there.
I don't know about you, but it's no wonder that many people stay in Luperon. Not only is it a safe harbor, but there's an amazing cruising community. The locals are extremely friendly, and you wouldn't be able to blame anyone for not continuing east and just staying here ever after.
So why are we leaving then?
So you keep telling me, long-range sailing is a series of calculated risks and using your best judgment to minimize these risks and having the courage to pull the trigger when the right weather window appears.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Many cruiser has waited months in Luperon for the perfect weather window, and I believe some of them are still waiting.
How long have they been here for?
Decades.
Wow. See, sometimes a perfect window will never appear. You need to know when the window is good enough and safe enough to go. By the same token, if you do wait for everything to be absolutely perfect, it may never happen in a cruising season. So there's always a little element of risk you may have to assume to take on. That's up to you individually, how much risk you want to take. The forecast we've got for most cruisers in our ability and comfort range is comfortable for us to take, so we're going.
Don Quixote is as ready as she'll ever be. So after months on the hard and now being in the harbor for a couple of weeks, we are ready to continue east. Having said all that, plans have changed. As of about 9 o'clock last night, we're throwing Van Sant sailing close to land out the window, and the current forecast looks like it may allow for a bit of a change of plans. We were talked into it last night, and I was a little bit apprehensive, but I'm coming around to it more and more. So what we're gonna do is jump off from Samaná and actually transit the Mona Passage up towards the north end of it instead of the south where Bruce Van Sant suggests. There's a number of reasons for this, but being out to sea is gonna probably feel nicer, and we've got a good wind forecast for that.
Our gut instincts, actually, with all our information we've heard, we've decided to go the deep water route, which leaves you more vulnerable to open ocean swells and wind and a lot of really nasty shoals out there at the Diamond Bank in particular. But with the forecast looking the way it is, we're gonna take the chance on it, and our theory is if we do get into any trouble, we can turn around and we should be able to sail downwind either back to Luperon or Samaná.
Essentially, the decision is between staying close to land and using the calm waters close to land, or going quite far offshore, and it's less distance traveled but can be more treacherous. The reason the Mona Passage is so feared and so treacherous is because it's where actually 3 bodies of water meet. I thought it was 2, but turns out it's 3. So it's where the Gulf of Mexico meets the Caribbean Sea, meets the Atlantic Ocean, and you've got the Puerto Rican Trench, the 2nd deepest trench in the world after the Mariana Trench, to the north of the Mona Passage, and you've got some quite shallow shoals. They're hundreds of feet deep, but in comparison to thousands of meters of the Puerto Rico Trench, it's quite shallow, so you can really get some confused seas, and that's why the Mona Passage is feared. We're gonna give it a go.
Yeah.
We're throwing all our months of reading and researching and passage planning, we're throwing Van Sant out the window. Sorry buddy, I'm sure what you say has a lot of merit, but in this particular case with these wind forecasts, we're straight shotting it. So we changed our dispatcho this morning from Luperon straight to Puerto Rico, not stopping in Samaná, but if we had to stop there, maritime law says that you can anchor anywhere if you need to in regards to bad weather or needing work on your boat. It's bittersweet. Luperon is an amazing place. It's a drinking town with a sailing problem, but Luperon, you salty sea dogs, we love you. The locals are amazing, the food's cheap, the beers are big and cold.
Massive shout
it's
out
vibrant.
to the community.
Yeah, it's no wonder people stay here for years and forever.
We felt really welcomed by everyone. Thanks to all the people we've met here. There's heaps of you.
We can't shout out because we'd miss someone, that just wouldn't be fair, but we love all y'all, and we can't wait to see you guys in other anchorages here and beyond. Any concerns about this passage in particular, Captain?
Hundreds.
Okay.
Is that going to stop us? No, we're on our way. Thanks, Jana, for all you've done. You guys don't see all the stuff behind the scenes that this girl does. She holds this show together.
I do not. You're the rock, you're the glue. Everyone knows that, everyone can see it.
Let me say that you're the best, and I'm really proud of you, and I hope we can grow together from this.
You weren't saying that this morning when I was grumpy because we changed plans, were ya?
Well, I've got to be careful when you're grumpy with what I say to you, because it's pretty funny sometimes, but other times it's not so funny.
So my biggest fears, location change. My biggest fears are capsizing, big seas, hitting something at night, not being able to control the boat, squalls, 100-knot squalls, thunder, being struck by lightning, things like that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but your biggest fear is when I'm afraid, because all hell breaks loose.
Yeah, when you're confident and happy, it's so good, but when Jana gets stressed, I don't really know how to handle it. Sometimes I try and calm her down, and then there's no calm in this monster. Yeah, it's hard. So my biggest fear is that is Jana losing his shit, which will make me lose my shit.
Here we go. Anchored! Biggest, longest passage yet. That was so good for confidence building.
We made it.
Through thunder and lightning and through beautiful clear water and amazing seas. Oh, it was great.
Oh, you did so well.
Can't get the radar down.
We haven't slept. I've had about 3 hours sleep in 2 days.
He did a massive watch last night. Every time I came up to relieve him, he kept saying half an hour, half an hour.
Oh, podcast got me through. A couple of good podcasts, but wow. That was a long mission, and we got here perfect time of morning.
Yeah.
Sun's been up for a bit.
We're gonna launch the dinghy,
wind.
Go clear in at customs.
We made it to Puerto Rico! Can you
Across the Motor Passage!
Yes!
And the engine was amazing!
Oh my god, yeah, everything went well. We had some challenges, a few storms, squalls, lightning. Yeah, we made it.
Baby, but hey, yeah, we got there in the end.
We're in a new country.
This is so exciting. If someone makes a t-shirt saying, I did the Motor Passage and killed it, I would buy that. The engine ran amazingly, by the way. It was just
one mid-sea repair on the alternator bolt, which took about an hour.
Yeah. And a bucket of sweat later, we were back on track. It took us 43 hours. I was calling Chris Parker for weather forecast on the wrong channel, so we never got any weather until the second morning of our trip. Sorry, the second evening of our trip. So that was comforting, that was helpful. He told us that we were actually in a good spot to be avoiding storms to the west of us and storms to the east of us. So that was a nice feeling. But we did this. Motor Passage.
And you can do it. Anyone can do it.
Anyone can do it, but it's daunting. I didn't imagine, I knew that it was a massive deal, 250 nautical miles, and the route we chose across a, you know, a really deep trench, and the Mona Passage is very considered treacherous by most sailors.
Oh, for sure.
But I knew it was a big deal, but having arrived here, the sense of accomplishment is just, I'll never forget this.
Yeah, don't forget, well maybe when we get Alzheimer's we might forget it. But that's a long way off, hopefully. So until then...
Speak for yourself, buddy. Thanks for skipping us across the Mona Passage.
Hey,
I don't know that you're making I don't know that the camera's seeing you, but you're there.
We're skip... Well, it looks like it's filming the house.
Probably. Yeah. Thanks for watching another episode of Naughty Nook. If you like this video, subscribe and leave us a comment below.
Or maybe even a thumbs up.
Thanks for watching, legends. Cheers, until next time.
Adios.